What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the fuel pump. This one's made by TRQ. We sell it at 1A Auto in this 2001 BMW 325xi. If you need this part or other parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1AAuto.com. Grab under the front part of the seat and just pull up, just like that. Then you're going to go on the other side, do the same. Just like that. You can twist this up and slide it forward. Oh, there is a little connector right here. Just remove that. And slide it up. Underneath here, this insulation stuff is crumbling because it's old, almost 20 years old. So just take that off. And I need to remove these nuts right here. Just gonna take a 10mm socket extension and ratchet, take these out. Now I can grab under here, slide this cover up. Ooh, some acorns in there. All right, so there's a lot of acorns in here. There was mice in here. Luckily, there's no fuel leaking. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to use the vacuum. I will use the vacuum now, but if there was fuel in here, you don't want to do that because you can blow your vacuum up. So. I'm gonna disconnect this connector right here. Just use the straight blade screwdriver. This slides this way. When this slides off, you can pull the connector straight up. Just like that. You want to clean this a little bit. I'll just take a little brake parts cleaner. Just wipe any of the sand away. You don't want that getting into the tank when you take this off. Use a rag. You could use some other types of cleaners as well. Now, before I take this line off, there is pressure in there. I want to bleed off that pressure. There's a couple different ways you could do this. If you still had this connected, you could disconnect the fuel pump fuse and try to start the car, or with this disconnected, we're going to try to start the car, and then the car should die, and that'll bleed off the pressure. You could also go under the hood and at the schrader valve, loosen up the schrader valve and bleed off the pressure that way. All right, I'm just gonna start the car and pretty much let it die out. Or sometimes it won't even start, which is okay also. So the pressure should be bled off. At this point, before I pull the fuel line, I'm gonna go disconnect the battery because I don't want any external sparks by accident, or I don't want the pump. There is a lift pump on that side that actually pumps fuel from that side of the tank over to this side of the tank when it sees a decrease in fuel level over here. So we don't want that coming on by accident, so we'll just disconnect the battery. The battery is in the trunk over here on the passenger side. If there's a cover over here, you're gonna need to take that cover off. To access the negative cable, just take a 10mm wrench, loosen this up. Once that's loose, wiggle the connector off and disconnect it. Slide that out of the way. I am going to take some of these absorbent pads and stick them right here. I am going to pull this carpet up a little bit, stick this under here, just so if any sprays, it doesn't spray onto the carpet. Just flip it over like that. Now we want to take that hose clamp off. Now what you're gonna need to do is get a new hose clamp because you can't reuse that. So get a hose clamp that's gonna work. So I'm gonna use a straight blade screwdriver and some needle nose pliers. Just get in here, try to loosen this up a little bit. You could also try some diagonal cutters and try to cut this off. That works as well sometimes. Take a slightly bigger screwdriver. There we go, we can release it just like that. And just slide that off. Throw it away. Just gonna take a couple rags, stick them underneath here, just to collect some of the fuel. And then I can take a right angle pick, just get in under here. It's a good idea to wear safety glasses while you're doing this. You can just take one of the rags and put it over so it doesn't spray everywhere. Take some hose pliers. Wiggle the hose back and forth. You can try to do this with some regular pliers further back so that you don't crush the fuel pump fitting, unless you're replacing it. But then it's still pretty hard to get that off. So. All right, got that out. Minimal fuel spray, which is good. You can use something to plug this up. Just plug that up and then push that out of the way. Or you could even use some locking pliers and then hold that out of the way like that. So there's a little bit of a rubbery adhesive right here. I'm just gonna take a screwdriver, just try to slice it, just get it out of the way. Now we need to twist this lock ring off. What I'm gonna do is use a brass punch and a hammer. The reason why you use brass is because it won't spark. You can try with a screwdriver, just be careful. I'm just gonna hammer on these locations. There it goes. It's starting to budge a little bit. Yeah, that's moving. So just go around, give it a couple taps all over. Just put the rag there so that some of the fuel wouldn't go all over the place. There we go. All right, so we got that loose, which is good. Take that ring off. If this ring got beat up too much, then you're gonna wanna replace it. This one's not too bad, a little bit, but we'll reuse this one. So I'm gonna get a drain bucket. You could use a regular bucket or even like a kid's sand bucket, something to put the fuel pump in once we pull it up so we don't get fuel all over the car. So grab it, there's a little handle right here, grab it from that, slide it up. There's a little seal, you're gonna pull the seal up as well. There's this hose right here to make sure that's out of the way. And you're gonna twist it in this direction. And then twist it to the side, just like that. Pull it up, just like that. Here's the old part. Here's the new part from oneauto.com. This is a TRQ pump. It's got the same float to tell you the level of the fuel. It's got the same pump configuration on the back with the filter on the bottom. The connector is the same, has the same handle and the same fitting for the fuel line. Get yours at oneauto.com and you'll be ready to rock and roll. Right, the new pump comes with a seal, so we're gonna install the seal right over the pump. Just be careful of the level sensor. You don't want to damage that. It is pretty sensitive. Now the pump's gonna slide in just like this. Level sensor down first. Slide in that position right there. Once you get it to there, then we're gonna install the seal just around onto the fuel tank. And it's gonna go with that more like a skirt looking side of the seal down, and the more flat part is gonna be up. All right, so that's completely installed. Now this little tab is going to go right there. Just slide that in position there and then push down on the pump. So now we're going to install this. Look for the lowest section of where the threads are on this lock ring. They're right there, and you want to start it right around that location. So just move that fuel line out of the way. Start spinning that on. Spin it as far as you can by hand, and then take the brass punch and just tap it in. And that's pretty good. You want it pretty much generally in the position it was when it came off. It's pretty close here, so that's good. So now we can take our fuel line and take our new clamp. Just take this sleeve off of the fuel pump. Pull this plug off the fuel line. Put the hose clamp on. And then reinstall fuel line, fuel hose. Take a straight blade screwdriver. And we'll just snug this up, snug this worm clamp up. Not too tight because it is plastic. Wiggle the hose if you can snug it up a little bit more. Just clean up any excess fuel that's spilled. And we didn't do too bad, which is good. Take the electrical connector, you can hook that up. Now this is gonna go in this location, just like this. See, this is slid out. As you slide it down, you're going to push this connector together, just like that. And that's locked in place. Now before I put this cover on, I want to reconnect the battery, and then I want to prime the fuel system and run the engine and double check, make sure I don't have any leaks. If I don't have any leaks, then I can put this all back together. We're going to hook up the battery, hook up the negative posts, take a 10mm wrench, tighten this up. Snug that up, grab the terminal, make sure it's tight. It's good. If you have that battery cover, you're going to want to put that on now. At this point, I want to prime the system. There's going to be air in the fuel lines, so what I'm going to do is turn the key on, let it sit for 10 seconds. You should be able to hear the fuel pump kick on. Shut it off, turn it back on for a couple of seconds, and shut it off. I'll do that 3 times, and then I'll try to start it. I can check around and see if there's any leaks at this point. If there's no leaks, you're good to start it. I'll start it. And it starts right up. Let it run for a second. And then I'll shut it off and I'll check for leaks. So I'm checking for leaks. I don't see any, which is perfect. So now we can put this back together. This cover goes right here. Going over the studs, there's an arrow on the cover, and that goes towards the front of the car. Just gotta push down on that, just like that. Take these nuts and put these back on. And take a 10mm socket, extension and a ratchet, and tighten them down. Just snug those down, and it's good. Just remove these mats, and if you want to reinstall this rubber insulation, this is more sound deadening material, install that, and we can put the seat back in. All right, I'm just gonna slide this over here. Take the seat belts. I'm gonna pull the seat belts through. I'm going to angle this underneath in the back. Tuck some of that excess seat material in. It's gonna go underneath there. And then just push down on the front. Just like that.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.